23rd, 29th of September. It is Friday, coming into a brand spanking new weekend. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a bit of time off, I got to be honest with you. Yeah, don't know what that will be, but believe me, you know, I work 7 days a week anyway. You know that, right? Yeah. Anyway, let me do this.
Galaxy 107fm.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, so very, very happy to have you joining us this morning. And believe me, had a busy day, got to be honest. We've spoken to Milton Blake earlier on, and well, if you haven't seen that or you're a first-time viewer, I tell you what, why not do this? Sub, thumb, bell. Yeah, bell notifications when we have important people, much like, of course, today we're talking to Dave Crimmen, and you're going to love this. He's coming out of San Francisco, the Bay Area too, by the way. So you're going to absolutely love this. At the same time, why not subscribe? Become part of the family. We call it the noise here at Galaxy, simply because you do have a voice and we hear you. Loud and clear. Did we ever hear you? We get your phone calls, your texts, your emails, everything. Believe me, all medias, we take notice of you. We really do. Thummy thing, you know what to do with that, right? Yeah, go on. Get epileptic with it. Just give it the, yeah, go on. Double, treble dare you. But you're going to love this. You really are. Today, we're going all the way over to San Francisco. Love the Harbour Bridge. Been over there many times. I really, really have. Of course, he's from the Bay Area. So we're going to have a little chat about that. Here, joining us live, is Dave Crimmen, and my heart skips a beat.
Something happens when your eyes meet mine.
Ah, dear. What's the weather like over there?
Oh, let's take a look. Right now it's sunny. It's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit here in the Bay Area. We refer to it as Indian summer. Our best weather actually comes in September and October. Mark Twain was right. The coldest winter he ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. He was not lying. And the weather situation is thus that this is our big time when we start hitting 90 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and we have our big fire season here in Northern California and yeah, pretty much Oregon and Washington State as well, and up in BC, Canada. This is our summer, if you will. So it's pretty nice outside.
Nice. Tell me, are the iconic trams still going?
Yes, they are. And the cable cars, as we call them in the city, yeah, they're a national treasury, I think, now, and they've been going for, I think, a little over 100 years.
Got a cut in there, bro? That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Let me just turn this up a little bit. Yeah, that's much better. Nice to have everybody joining us. Jennifer Miller Alvarado is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Jennifer. John Reed, great name. Absolutely love a Reed name. Joan Muchin-Ten-Hover is joining us. You were joining us in the last one as well. Nice to have you on board. Of course, friends with the Hammond brothers. Holly Ann is in there. Nice to have you joining us as well. Bo Gregory. Hello, Bo. Michael Zandowitz is joining us as well, coming out of Orlando in Florida. Of course, he's with Galaxy Class Entertainment, which we're associated with. And nice to have Michael with us. Irie Priest. Hello, Irie. Nice to have you back. Believe me, today we're doing a little rock and roll. And believe me, it's been too long since we've done a bit of rock and roll, and today we're talking to Dave Crimmen, coming out of the Bay Area. in San Francisco. Welcome to Galaxy Day.
Well, welcome and good morning to all my friends who are Kiwis down under.
Well, it's an absolute honour to have you, and believe me, you've been making quite a sensation on our radio station just recently, and we're going to get right down and dirty and find out all the skinny about Dave Crimmen. And I've got to be honest, Dave, there's going to be a little question or two that maybe, just maybe, people might find, it happens. Yeah, because believe me, I'm just that way. I ask those questions, I really do. So let's start it off, Dave. My heart skips a beat. Tell me all about this track.
Well, it was simply a song that started out about my girlfriend, who's now my wife. It's just that simple. And big influences on me musically are folks like Ricky Nelson, Elvis Presley, and Carl Perkins. You know, a lot of those folks from Sun Records, or who, like Ricky Nelson, were greatly influenced by Sun Records. I've got an older brother and 3 older sisters, and I'm the baby of the family. There's a 21-year difference between Arlene, my oldest sister, and myself. And she was bringing home records by Elvis Presley and Little Richard when I was 6 months old. And so I knew what I wanted to be then.
You know, I've got people who watch this, and one particular lady by the name of Sean Simpson will absolutely love you. Really, really will. Absolutely love you, really do. But I don't want to start anything, okay? Really don't. We don't want to get Dave in trouble in any way. Tracy Grove is watching. Nice to have you on board, Tracy. It really is. And now, Dave, how long have you been doing this?
Literally since I was 6 months old. I remember my sisters putting these fabulous records on the Victrola. That's what it was called in 1955. It was not called the stereo. In fact, there wasn't stereo. It was only mono. And I just remember all this music hitting me. I was an infant, and I'd sit in front of the record player, and the speaker was about as big as I was, so your whole body is vibrating. My sister Arlene used to play guitar locally in bands. She wasn't professional, but she did play, and I described her amplifier to her. It was an old Fender Champ, and I said I had the tweed sides and white knobs on top. She says, you were 6 months old when I had that. I go, yeah, but I knew music came out of there. I go, what'd you do with the amp and the guitar? She goes, oh, I met LJ 6 months later and I sold it. I just found out a couple of years ago that LJ told me that's how they paid for their wedding, so I can die a happy man now. It did go to a good cause.
Fair enough too, absolutely, and you respect LJ and that for those times, literally. Now, I got a young man by the name of Marcus coming out of Halifax in Canada. He's asking, Dave, how do we get hold of you as a fan? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? Are you a talker? But more importantly, do you respond?
Oh yeah, I do respond to all of it. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I mean X. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn. You can go to my website, Dave Crimmen. You can email me directly there. My email address is real simple, dave@davecrimmen.com. My producer, Michael Melinda, the editor of Guitar Player Magazine for 18 years, to this day still cannot remember my email address because it's too easy. He's used to Jimmy_page/led.zeppelin@such and such. He says, your email address is too...
Hello, he's broken up. Oh dear.
.com?
You're back. You froze up there a little bit for a couple of minutes, so Cheryl Schofield is joining us as well. Nice to have you on board, Cheryl. Now, I got to ask you, do you have a website? Can we buy merch?
Right now, off of my website, no. But we do have links to CD Baby and all the merch sites that do sell my CDs. I've written 2 books for Arcadia Publishing, and there are links from my website to Arcadia Publishing to purchase my books. If you go to eBay, you'll actually find some of my 45 RPM records out there.
That's going back in the... Well, hold on. Is it the little hole or is it the big hole?
It's either. We did both for all the releases just to make sure everybody would be happy. And I wound up making the cover of Goldmine magazine because at the time there was a gentleman writing a column specifically on pictured sleeves for 45 RPM releases. Like Elvis Presley had, the Beatles, the Beach Boys. They all came in pictured sleeves, not plain white sleeves. He says, you've got 6 singles out. They're all 45s. They all have pictured sleeves. Do you realize you've got more records out with pictured sleeves than the Stray Cats? I go, I didn't know that, but hey, what the heck? So it was a good interview.
Fair enough, too. And believe me, I think that is quite correct, too. So, okay, Revved Up. Tell me all about that.
It's a real simple rock and roll song. And my band and I, we do play a lot of classic car shows. And the hook line, revved up and ready to go, we always get people singing along with that one. It's real easy. So rev up that 45 RPM and put the needle down on it and play it loud.
You're right, here at Galaxy 107 FM, joined live today by Dave Crimmen. Here's Revved Up. Music to drive fast too. So, what are you drinking?
For all those who are not listening, it's water.
Okay. No, I don't.
I'll later, mate.
Well, believe me, I don't blame you if you need a stiff one. I really don't, because you got to look out. You look at me for a start. That's worse than anything. It really, really is. Got to ask you though, Dave. You're not a vegan by any chance, are you?
No.
You're not. Okay. You're a meatologist like me, right?
I like blondes and brunettes.
Yep, fair enough. Me too. I usually
Kidding? I'm just kidding.
Hey, listen, somebody asked me about my beard the other day. They went, what do you feed it? I went, female bass players.
Excellent.
It's got a penchant for the red version. It really does. I'll ask you about being a vegan. I'll explain that to you after the next track because, believe me, I'm trying to get to the bottom of a myth, okay?
Alrighty.
And at the same time, Johnson & Johnson's have banned me. They blacklisted me. They won't respond to me at all anymore. So I'll explain that one as well, okay?
Galaxy.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy. Let me just get this up a little bit and try and give this a twist at the same time. That sounds much better. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today we're talking to Dave Crimmen. Now, something you may notice with rock and roll music is really, it's very rare to find a 5-minute track. Dave, yours is indicative of that. I mean, last couple of songs, 139, 205, 257, 216. Is this the trend because it was set back in the day with radio stations, they wouldn't play anything longer than 3 minutes?
I'm a big rock and roll traditionalist. And though I write in all styles and record in all styles of rock and roll, the 1950s is my favorite era and genre. And all of those songs were right around 2 minutes long. I mean, my favorite song by Ricky Nelson, Stood Up, is 1:58. Don't Be Cruel is 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Hound Dog is 2 minutes and 15 seconds. It took me years of practice to sit down and how do you write songs that short? You know, Hound Dog, they got 2 guitar solos and 5 verses in there. How do you do that? When I stumbled upon the structure of how to do it, I just kept doing it. That's just how they come out.
You know, I'm absolutely fascinated. I really, really am, because I love rock and roll. And for many, many years, I've been looking at it going, why don't they make a 5-minute song? You know what I mean? Other than being sha-na-na, of course, you can never get Bowser to shut up. That's the problem, back in the day. Now, Gail Hammond is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Gail. It really, really is. Are you familiar with Gail Hammond or the Hammond brothers?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, absolute legends in the Hall of Fame too, by the way, Country Music Hall of Fame, Gail and Dale Hammond. You may be familiar with their uncle, Albert Hammond.
Ah, yeah, great songwriter.
Like a Train and all of that, yeah, believe me. Never Rains and that kind of stuff. Yeah, believe me, Dale and Gail, absolutely famous in the country western music industry. In fact, they're going to be making an appearance in India in November. Believe me, this is fantastic, because you really want to know about this. The IIMF 2, literally last year was IIMF 1, which is the International Independent Music Festival. It is being held at the Kerala Arts and Crafts Village in Kovalam, Trivandrum, India, supported by the Indian government. Literally, this year is going to be making history, literally. Are you familiar with the band AC/DC?
Oh, I think I've heard of them once or twice. I've actually even gone to a concert when Bon Scott was still the lead singer.
Okay, well, prior to Bon Scott, the very first founder and very first lead singer was a guy called Dave Evans, who happens to be a very close friend of Barbara's. Literally.
Wow, very good.
And he's going to be taking for the very first time, this is where history comes in, folks, as literally AC/DC have never set foot in India, any part of it, literally. And Dave's going to be taking the 50-year reunion tour there November 11th, Saturday night. It is going to be sold out, so get your tickets now. Go and get it at Kerala Arts and Crafts, believe me, because this will never happen again. It never will. And moreover, and you'll be interested in this, Barbara and I are going to be hosting all 3 nights.
Oh, God bless. That should be a blast.
It's going to be hilarious, believe me. The government there have invited us over and said, you know, entertain the crowd. They've given me free rein. This is it's going to be a bloodbath, I tell you. It really is. Dave Meikle is joining us as well. William Hughes is joining us. Kia ora, William. I absolutely love you. I really do. And big kisses to Francesca and all the crew behind you as well. Looking forward to some new music, even though I'm loving playing your latest one right now. I really am. Now, Dave, I've got to let you know, your 3rd most requested track here at Galaxy is Come On. So tell me about it. What makes this so successful?
One of my favorite tracks ever, because I actually was blessed to work with the Jordanaires, who sang back up to Elvis Presley, Ricky Nelson, Patsy Cline, Brenda Lee, anybody that was recording in Nashville in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, or even the 40s. The Jordanaires are pretty much on their tracks. And at the time, Gordon Stoker was still alive, and Ray Walker, who is still alive, they were actually, in the studio with Elvis Presley when they were doing stuff like Don't Be Cruel and Hound Dog and It's Now or Never, and you name it, they're on it. So I'm truly blessed to have them on one of my singles, and it's a dream come true, really.
Well, let me tell you, 1,769 requests and climbing so far. Believe me, Dave, you're making a huge sensation here at Galaxy. Here is Come On. How you feeling, Dave? You okay?
I'm feeling great. You know, you guys are waving my flag so much. It would be a really, really good excuse to come down to New Zealand and do a tour for y'all. I would love to come down, and besides, you all have much better beer than we do here in the States.
Yeah, well, we don't have that light beer stuff in it.
Exactly.
You know?
We have all these Irish and German immigrants, and all we drink is water.
Yeah.
What's wrong with this picture?
Well, we sort of call it kitten piss compared to what we drink here. Literally. But having said that, I was talking about being a vegan, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried a vegan sausage?
Is there such a thing?
Well, I'm trying to figure out whether it's made of real vegans or not. Well, I was upset when I found out Girl Guide biscuits weren't made of real Girl Guides. But you can kind of I was saying that, you know, Johnson & Johnson have banned me. They blacklisted me. Literally, I was doing an interview with one of their executives. And, of course, I knew they were going to be coming on for an interview, so I went out and bought a bottle, right? You know the product, you know, clear, you know. And I just says to him, it says it on here, baby oil, right? And he goes, yes. I says, how many babies goes in to make it?
Ooh, ow.
End of interview. No, we're not doing that. Now, I've got a friend of mine who is a 5-star chef at a Hyatt in Auckland, which is one of our biggest cities in New Zealand. And I was talking to him the other day, and I says to him, by the way, Graham, what's the hardest thing about cooking in the kitchen? And he goes, vegetables. I went, bro, I know what you mean. Getting the wheelchairs in the oven must be a bitch.
Oh, naughty.
Oh, look, don't get me going on baby oil, well, on vegetable oil now, will you?
That's like we were on a tour and we were up in Denver, Colorado.
Hold that thought, Dave. Sorry to cut you in, you've got about 20 seconds. We will talk about it.
It feels so right. Can you all come on, come on, baby, come on, come on, baby, come on, baby, come on, come on.
Galaxy FM.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today I'm absolutely elated to be talking to Dave Crimmen, coming out of Bay Area in San Francisco. I've been to San Francisco, but I was there when I was a little nipper with my parents. Literally, I think they were there because they liked having long hair and wearing weird bell-bottom kind of pants and stuff like that. And then there was my father as well. You went there as well, but believe me, have been there and enjoyed back in the day. Of course, it always reminds me of the TV show too, you know, Streets of San Francisco. That always goes down well. Love that show back in the day. Anyway, today we are very, very privileged to be invited into Dave Crimmen's Bay Area home to talk to us about his music, and I am absolutely fascinated because we don't get enough rock and roll in the world anymore. Literally, it seems to be a bygone thing. So, Dave, do you have to seek out an audience these days compared to being able to be invited to festivals and stuff like that?
You know,
Is it a dying crowd these days?
no, absolutely not. And it's amazing that people come out to my shows and you see grandparents who were probably teenagers in the 50s, their kids, and their grandkids who are toddlers and young children, and by the end of the show, they're all up dancing. And You might say us 50s rock and rollers were kind of like that old commercial by comedian Jay Leno. I don't know if it ran in New Zealand or not, but he was doing commercials for Doritos corn chips, a snack, and the whole hook line of the commercial was "Try us again for the first time." Well, that's kind of like what rock and roll is. Try us again for the first time.
You know, Dave, I respect that. I really, really do. And that's healthy because that means that rock and roll just might survive another couple of eras yet. You know what I mean? The reason why I asked that, literally, it was one of my engineers said, rock and roll, didn't that die out about 30 years ago? And I went, no, it didn't die out. What it did was it took a hiatus and got stronger in the end, literally. Dave's frozen again. So, now, Merv Pinney, Kiwi artist, is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Merv. I would love to be able to catch up with you, see if there's anything new in the pipeline. Would love that. Richard Rich Cross is joining us as well. Nice to have you on board, Richard. It really is. But I suppose instead of standing still and letting grass grow under our feet, we should be moving on down the line, which I think is a good segue to say, tell me about this track.
This is the new single. Was originally scheduled to come out on the 2nd, but distributors are falling all over themselves, so it looks like it's going to get bumped back to my birthday, October 21st. Yes, I am Libra, and we do rock. I was born October 21st, 1955. I got here just in time for rock and roll. So it looks like the new single, Move On Down the Line, is coming out on my birthday. So again, put that needle down on the MP3 and play it loud.
Well, I got to let you know, 2,994 requests so far for this. I'm not getting through literally a breakfast show without playing it at least. And I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. People around the world, and we're in every English-speaking country in the world, David, and some that aren't too, by the way, but, I don't know how that works, but I'll take it. Really will. Absolutely loving move on down the line. So it would be remiss of me if we didn't get right into it. Let's do it. Here's Dave Crimmen. I love rock and roll. There's never enough of it. I do. I really, really do. I got to thank you for taking time out to talk to us here in New Zealand.
Well, I've got to thank you from the bottom of my heart for playing my records and waving my flag. It's a lot of the independent stations all over the world that are finding out about me. You were talking a minute ago about people thinking rock and roll is dead. It is not. It's just because, at least here in the States, all the radio stations are owned by 2 or 3 corporations, and they dictate to the audience what the DJs are going to play. And they're just not dictating rock and roll at this point in time. So it takes independent artists like myself partnering with independent radio stations like yourself to really keep this music alive. And, people are seeking this out. They're starting to figure out they can go to the regular radio station for fast food, but if they want a home-cooked dinner, they come here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we've got about 40 seconds, so we'll go back live, but can I talk about the magazine to him after we finish this?
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll privately we'll do
Yep,
it.
we'll do that. I've got a magazine I would like to introduce you to, and I want to talk to you about this after we do the interview. Is that okay?
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
Nice, nice. It's about promoting you a little bit more, if you know what I mean. Now, I got to let you know, David, that a good friend of ours coming out of the UK tomorrow is going to be going to the movies, literally because one of her tracks is literally playing, even though it is a sort of a death kind of movie, if you know what I mean. It's a thriller, it's a horror, something like that, but she is in this movie being released tomorrow called The Black Drama. Believe me, I'm interested in having a look at it myself, I really am. But you know, Slug, as well, you kind of have been around that kind of scene for a number of years now, and believe me, you've been on shows like Cold Case, for instance, and Sir Michael Douglas, of course, The Game, and everything like that. This is fantastic, and I hope that's in your book, how you're explaining everything like that. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, if I ask you nicely, how would you like to sign a copy and send me a copy so I can have a read of it?
Well, the books I've written are on local history. They're not on music, ironically. I was born in San Francisco, but raised in a little unincorporated district called Broadmoor Village. It's not really a town because there's no mayor, there's no city hall, but it is a district, and it is not part of any town surrounding it. The biggest town surrounding it is Daly City. This is the first town just south of San Francisco. And Broadmoor Village is the only unincorporated district in the state of California that has its own police force. And that's what makes us a little bit different. There's a lot of stubborn Irish and stubborn Germans who, since 1946, every time Daly City wants to annex us, we tell them where to go. You can fill in any expletive deletive you want with that. But a family that follows my band around, one of the people in their family wrote books for Arcadia. These little, you can get them in the UK and New Zealand. In fact, the company is originally from the UK, and they're local history books. And I got roped into writing a book about Broadmoor Village, where I grew up, and that's how that happened. So now I are a published author. I'm still not used to the word author. I write songs, not books, but it's a fun thing to have. So yeah, I would love to.
Absolutely, and believe me, I'd be very, very interested in reading it. Wolf Milestone's joining. Hello, Wolf. Nice to have you on board. It really, really is. And I got to let you know, Dave, your most requested track right now is 1957 Chevy Bel Air. Now, I had one. I really do. In fact, it was one of the first vehicles I ever had, left-hand drive, and it was a hearse.
Oh.
Now, there's a story to this. Literally, I was in high school, and my friend that I used to hang out with, his father was an undertaker, and they were getting new vehicles, a new fleet of vehicles, and he was wanting to get rid of these older models that they had. And I had this black and white one, absolutely superb. It really, really was lovely. And I only bought it, in those days it was a lot of money, you know, about 500 New Zealand dollars was a lot of money for a kid going to high school. And
Right.
so I paid the money, and I rocked up after school, and here's this absolutely plush Chevy Bel Air. And I went in and picked up the keys and went back out, got in the car, looked in the back, and there's a coffin in the back. So I got out of the car, went back inside, and I went, there's a coffin in the back. He goes, yeah, comes with the car. I went, does it? He goes, yeah, you never know, you might be able to find a use for it. Now, back in those days, I used to do a lot of surfing, a huge amount of surfing. We had beaches all around us, literally, and beautiful for surfing, you know, 20-foot breakers, all sorts of fun. And so I put the surfboard on the top of the roof and, well, went off to the pub for the night, got in my car and thought, you know, it's a perfect time to go out and do some surfing right out Westway. So I went out there. I knew of a nice little place right behind a cemetery, would you believe, where I could get in. And first thing in the morning, you get the beautiful breakers, everything like that. So I thought, I'm set, ready to go. And I've got a bed. So, okay, I parked this thing up behind a cemetery, setting the scene right. Okay, About 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm fast asleep inside this box, literally, and suddenly I'm finding myself shaking from side to side, and I'm wondering, the hell's going on, right? So I opened up the lid, sat up, looked out the window, and here's this kid going, ah! Believe me, I don't think you'll ever forget it.
Before we move forward, I've got 2 quick ones. Number one, you mentioned someone who was listening from Halifax. Big shout out to everybody in Canada. My very first royalty check was for Airplay in Canada. And so the folks in the Great White North have a special place in my heart. And when it comes to the track, you're going to play 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Listen close, because when we uploaded this, we did not upload the MP3 per se. I have facilities here where I took the actual 45 of 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air and turned it into an MP3, and that's what we uploaded. It's driving radio station engineers nuts trying to EQ it. God bless them, but you're really listening to a 45 RPM record, people.
I love it, I do. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. And Dave, I got to let you know, there is 3,357 requests for it so far. So believe me, it is just cleaning up here at Galaxy. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, 1957 Chevy Bel Air. Dear, dear. How many are on? How many countries?
159.
It's not bad. It's not bad. 159 countries tuned in.
There's 159 countries on the face of the earth?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's about
195, I think.
195. She thinks. She's the statistician. How many cities are tuned in?
2,412.
Not bad. 2,412 cities tuned in.
Oh, wow. God bless and thank you guys.
Now, you want the number at the end of this. This is how many. We call them, well, we kind of associate them to people, but moreover, it's devices, if you know what I mean. And
Right.
we'll give you numbers on how many devices are tuned in. Look, there could be one person, there could be 20. You know what I mean? So we don't exactly know. But so we go by devices, and you want to know that because that's a good number. It really is. JB Striker is joining us. Hello, JB. Nice to have you on board. It really, really is.
Any new music?
Yeah, yeah. Barbara's getting in there. Any new music, JB?
Yeah, anybody, even Richard Rich.
Yeah,
Anybody
come on,
from
guys.
the UK.
Let's front up some new stuff.
Christy.
I tell you what, we're looking at taking interviews January, February. That's how far booked we are. So, and Dave, I've got to let you know, seriously, we only, and we are very proud of this, only play the best music here at Galaxy, the best indie artists in the world. So I've got to congratulate you for getting in. It's not easy to be able to get an interview, but let alone be played here. You know what I mean?
Well, God bless you both. Thank you for doing everything that you were doing. Thank you.
Fort Barbara gets about 200 submissions a day, so that's why it's not easy.
I want you. Trust me, honey, what I say to you. It might cost a lot, but I don't care. It's like glass high school shoes I want to wear. My 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. My 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Well, my 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air.
Absolutely superb. It really, really is. And I'm very, very fascinated with Dave Crimmen and his style of music. Literally. Now, Dave, I've got to ask you, anything new coming out in the near future?
Well, we have the new single, Move On Down the Line, which it looks like it's going to come out on my birthday, October 21st. And we have scheduled new singles to come out once every 6 to 8 weeks for the next year and a half. So yes, you'll be the first one to get them, and we'll be sending it out there. Also, I wanted to mention that last year I put out an EP. That's like a mini album of 5 songs. And I was on a Zoom call with a client who was a music supervisor for TV shows. And she looked at me and said, "Can you write songs like Johnny Cash?" And I looked at her and I said, "With this hair, baby? Yeah, I can do that." So it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on Apple. There's 5 songs that I did my best to channel. It's called The Ghost of J.R., and that is Johnny Cash's real name, J.R. Cash. It's a tradition in the South. They don't give you a first name, they give you initials, and the initials don't necessarily mean anything. But that's out there for y'all to listen to, and it was in a new direction, even though it was still a Sun Records direction. I had never done anything like that before. So there's current stuff out there, there's new stuff coming out. I'm not stopping. We just keep going.
Absolutely fantastic, and believe me, that gives me, it's exciting to me, because maybe, just maybe, you might want to come on back and do another interview and talk about more new music as you release it.
I would love to do that, and, maybe over the next few months, if you have anybody in your network that is so inclined to book tours, I would love to come down either by myself or with my band and do a tour of New Zealand. My wife has been there several times. She loves New Zealand, and it'd be nice to go for a walkabout.
Yeah, well, that's what they do in Australia. We're in New Zealand. We
Right.
sort of,
I understand.
yeah, no, believe me, we do some weird stuff down. Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Yeah, well, Peter Jackson, who actually was the producer of that, is, well, I know the guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to university with him back in the day. Currently, he's on the rich list too here in New Zealand. He's one of the richest men. I know why. Believe me, in university, when it was time for him to buy the beer, you could never find the guy.
That's why he's the richest one right now.
That's the one, absolutely. It's not because of his movies, and believe me, if you ever look at his movies from way back in the day, go and have a look at a movie called Meet the Feebles. If you know the Muppets, well, this was a bawdy kind of version of that, you know what I mean? Way back in the day. Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Did have something to do with that too, by the way. Yeah, go and have a look at that. Or Bad Taste. Yeah, believe me, it is exactly what the title says. It's completely bad taste, but it's a lot of fun as well. That was how he cut his teeth in the movie industry back then. So you want to know anything about him. But if you come to New Zealand and meet up with me, there's only 2 words I have for you, and that is bail money. Bring bail money, believe me. And if you know anything about me, well, there's a place down the South Island called Queenstown, and well, you never know who you might bump into down there, believe me. It's one of these boutique all the A-listers go there to get away from things like the paparazzi and stuff like that, where they take their significant others and stuff, believe me, Kevin Costner's been down there, Keanu Reeves, all those kind of folks. But honestly, Dave, if you bump into me down there, I'll throw you off a bridge.
Which means?
Bungee jumping.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but as far as bail money is concerned, me fine Irish mother, God rest her soul in heaven above, always taught me to live by the 11th commandment. Don't get caught.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I completely understand that one. That's like a couple of friends of mine just a few days ago. Literally, we went out drinking in Auckland, because one of my friends was heading overseas, and he says, you know, I'm not sure whether I'm going to be back in a number of years, so we decided to go out and have a few beers and stuff like that. And I says, I'll pick you up at the hotel in the morning, take you to the airport, see you off. He goes, yep, fair enough. So I went one way, he went the other. I get a phone call about 3 hours later, and he goes, you know something? Something really weird happened to me. I went, what's that? And he says, I was walking, staggering down this dark alleyway, and this young lady stepped out of the dark and went, would you like a bit of business? And he goes, oh yeah, I'll be, you know, okay, fair enough. So they're, you know, in the back seat of this car, and this police officer shines his light in and goes, oi, oi, what's going on here? The guy says, I'm making love to my wife. The cop says, I didn't know you were making love to your wife. He goes, neither did I until you turned the light on.
It's an adult show now.
Anyway, with that, I'm going to leave you, my friend. Please, please, please hang in there for a couple of minutes. We're going to take some photos and stuff like that, and you'll get some backstage photos that have been taken as well. And everybody's going to rush the monitors. But in the meantime, folks, have a very happy and successful day. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be doing 2 more interviews next Tuesday. Barbara will be back at work on Tuesday too, by the way. Join me on Monday between 5:30 in the morning and 10 o'clock for the breakfast show. Looking forward to meeting you guys then. In the meantime, have a safe and happy weekend. Happy radio, everyone.
Galaxy.